host, Howard 702LV.
And that's me. Yo, what's good? It's your boy HT, Howard 702. Let's get tripping like a kid, untied shoes. And you see the vibe and you see the move. And yes, you're no mistake where you're at. You're at the Howard Hour Live. And this is the place to be. Yes, folks. Welcome. If you're new, welcome. And if you're not, hello, welcome back. But not even as that, folks. This is the Howard Hour Live. It's a show from me to you just to show, hey, you're comfortable in this space, you're growing in this space, and that's the best thing to be in this place. And we just want to see about it, But man, not even as that, folks. We made it to the end of another week, folks. Yes. And I don't know if y'all, but this week it been a crazy week, folks. Yes. And I say crazy like not with just the rain we have and everything. We have record rainfall that's going on with Louisiana right now. It's been raining ever since Tuesday, and they also have up to almost 4 inches of water that been coming each day. And man, my yard is flooded, folks, and I feel like I'm about to go swimming by tomorrow. But not even as that, with this whole crazy week, folks, we have to have condolences and send positive vibes and vibrations to Georgia, man. They had a school shooting out there at the high school, man, and man, they had some lives lost. And not even as that, man, a lot of kids are affected by another tragedy of gun violence right here in the United States of America, man. And it's something that's crazy, something that should be taken care of. And not even as that, man, make sure you talk to your loved ones, make sure you talk to your kids. And not even as that, if you see somebody going through it, man, lend out your hand. Your words can be the touch that could probably help them, or your words can be something that can help self-destruct. And you got to just remember that at times, folks. You never know what somebody's going through. But not even is that, folks, man, positive vibes and vibrations that way, because no child should ever have to go through what's going on right now. And not just about no child, but no person ever should have to go through the effects of gun violence. But not even is that, folks, man, positive vibes again and vibrations towards that. Also with this week, folks, man, we had, man, also again, RIP, we had the great Rich Homie Quan pass away this week, man. And outlets reported that he died of a suspected overdose. And man, it's crazy, folks. Like, you have to understand, if this is something that you're not getting from the doctor, man, don't put it in your body. And not even is that, you could be getting it from the doctor. Don't do too much of it, man. Moderation is key, but not even this that. Moderation is what's within. And hey, again, you never know what somebody's battling. You never know if somebody has, like, hey, I just might have to just, hey, I want to take this, but no, not that. Don't do that, and don't go down that path. And not even this that, man. Positive vibes and vibrations to Rich Homie Quan family, because hey, to leave behind a legacy and to have something like this on your legacy, man, it's really something that is profound and really sad to see around. And not even this that, man, a lot of fans are really showing support. We've been seeing that his music showcase and sparked up on the Apple's playlist, man, and that really brought me to a point to really say, folks, don't show love when all these rappers and everything is gone. Do not do that. Like, show love while they're here. Like, if you have a voice, like, voice up to them. If you're concerned, say something to them. That's the point of being a fan. Yes. You just don't have to sit there and stand and listen, because sometimes a lot of these people are calling out for help. And sometimes as a fan, we could be the ones to sit there and either make an attention or just reach out. And like I said earlier, man, you never know what somebody's going through. But no, again, positive vibes and vibrations. But man, we're getting on to with this week. All my people, man, all my movie heads, and not even just that, all my people that go to church. Yes, all my church folks, this is all for y'all. They have a new movie out by the Kendrick brothers. Yes, man, if you don't know who the Kendrick brothers are, the Kendrick brothers did the great film called War Room, man, what was great accolades. And not even as that, it was a newfound Christian-based movie that really soared through the networks of really getting to a lot of people. They had a follow-up, man. They just came out with a film called The Forge. Yes, folks. I tell this to everybody, even if you're not religious or anything. This is a movie you should really check out. Watch it with your family. It is really a coming of age story, just about having faith and being positive in these day and age, man, because you have to grow, you have to show, and not even as that, man, you see how far it goes. The Forge has 100% rating so far on Rotten Tomatoes, y'all. And I'm not even saying that, like, man, that takes a lot to achieve that. You feel me? So yeah, this is something on your radar that you should really check it out. And not even just that, it's something that you should check out with your family. Something to have good conversation about. And not even just that, man. This is something that is really should be like really talked about because we could spread a message of positivity, and that could be the best outlet for a lot of us. But yes, folks, not even as that, man, we had it on to the end of this week. To the end of this week, which is something so sweet, man. We have Beetlejuice. Yes, folks, Beetlejuice. Oh, I can't say it one more time because he might pop up. But yes, man, the sequel to the great infamous movie back from the 80s. Beetlejuice has a follow-up called Beetlejuice that just hit theaters. Actually, they had a midnight showing last night, and today it drops. And man, it is something that should be seen. It is funny, and not even as that, man, to have the nostalgic feel to see something over almost what 30 something years later and to really see the crowds and everything come out to it. And not even as that, man, we had Tim Burton. He finally got that Hollywood star, y'all. Yes, folks. Earlier this week, Tim Burton was accompanied by Winona Ryder. I think his wife was there, Miss Helena Boham Carter. Yes. And he had a couple of friends in support, man. He ended up just getting his Hollywood star right there in front of the Hollywood Collectibles, the Scare Shop. You know, you go there for Halloween and everything. That's a big spot in California, right there in Los Angeles. But now it is that, folks, man. It's really cool to see. It's finally cool to see the weird kids get the respect that they get. And it's cool to be a weird kid nowadays. So shout out to all my weird kids. But now it is that, folks, man. We getting this thing rolling like a locomotive bee. Man, I say I did this thing on my page today. I was on Instagram, and a thing stood out to me. Like I had to post, what do we rather have, legacy or longevity? And a lot of people, when we get misconstrued, when we're building something, or when we have something that's of construction, we don't look at the legacy of it. You look at how long this construction is going, how long this building's going to be up, how much work have I put into it, how much outpour is coming from it. And I see a lot of people on here with this platform that we're on now are looking at the longevity of this instead of the legacy, because legacy, like I said earlier, could be tainted so easy. So easy. Somebody can sit there and tarnish on your legacy. But on longevity, nobody cannot tarnish on the work that been made. And I say that again, for the work that been made, that speaks accolades, that speaks volumes, and that speaks place that it hasn't been before. And this individual that I got coming to the stage tonight is really showcasing that. When I first caught wind of this fine person, man, it was from a art like standstill. But to get there and to really check out this person's worlds, you really see it goes way beyond art. This is way beyond it goes from the realm of finding yourself. And when I say finding yourself, it's just gonna go into the realms of you have to sit there and be like, oh well, hey, is this what I'm meant to be, or is this what's meant for me? But no, you have certain platforms where you could really sit there and have those type of questions, because that's the type of ambience you get from it. To really get to a point where you sit there and you have to find construction and value that you see in certain things like sculptures, certain things like galleries, or not even as that, certain things like items that can stand out to you just from the blink of an eye, but you can have a different report to it from a heightened sense of emotion. This individual, I feel like, is catching all those types of vibes, you feel me? And not even as that, like it even says it in his name, he follows the aesthetics, you feel me, of what you have to have that feng shui. And with that feng shui, not even as that, you can see the clarity that you can have. Hey, to a lot of questions, you might see this outlet. You might see something in one of his worlds and you might be like, that is how I feel. And a lot of people find obstruction with that and try to laugh at a long run when, like, no, that's what art is. Art is longevity. And this individual I'm really bringing to the stage tonight, man, is really showing that in this platform that we're on. So, man, I really need y'all to throw some confetti in the air, waving around like you just don't care, man, but show some love. Show some love for the great Mr. Island Aesthetic. Yes.
We need like
we did it on the first try. Oh,
We're good.
Yay. How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm pretty good in yourself, Howard.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I sense over there you're a little bit tired, so I ain't gonna have the whole crazy. It's just
Oh
how you
no,
just
just
did
a
the
little
whole
bit, but
little.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable.
Oh no, that's good. That's good. No, I thank you so much, man, for coming through and even having time to do this. Because again, I know you hard to catch like a bug. You feel me? So, to,
Sometimes.
but no, it's good to see that because that means you're out the way, but you're in your own way. And I mean, it brings me to like one of my first questions with you, Mr. Island. You're in the metaverse. Like, how did you come upon this vast space?
How did I come across the metaverse? Um, so I want to say maybe back in like before virtual reality, I was more so like my background is in mathematics. So I
Mhm.
was already more so into like 3D modeling, 3D printing for like cosplay and like, selling models and making 3D art. And then I think in 2021, my mom got me my first headset for my birthday, my Quest 2. And at that point, I was only ever using it for Gravity Sketch. And I was just using that for 3D models again. And a friend showed me Horizon Worlds like one time. And I said, this is like a Candyland kind of game. I don't like it's like gingerbread. I don't really know what this is about. I don't think it's for me just yet. And I want to say it was in October 22. Um, Came inside of here, then I realized people could hear me.
Yeah.
As I was talking about them. And they were also very friendly, and very melanated too. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, this is a space for us. The algorithm, for me being a person who was like 3D modeling, 3D printing, I hadn't seen like a lot of black people 3D modeling.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, this is where we're all hiding. So boom. Now I'm here.
Hey. And he said, man, that caused that how you say that, not, I don't want to say migration because I feel like that's only with like birds and those species, but the found that flocking, how I call it, you did the right flocking in the right direction because
Yeah.
a lot of people I've seen getting on here like they either caught it from a word of mouth or like from like early days. I started off in the beta days, so we started off like, okay, well, hey, what is this about Horizon? So to see that again, you heard again, like this is like a Candyland approach, but to still try that aspect, that shows like, okay, hey, this is just not just something about I'm just gonna like sit there and just like want to play around with. I see you said earlier, you said about you started off with mathematics.
Yeah.
And like I say, so with that incorporate, like how do you incorporate that with art though? Like it's like how did that even go like hand in hand? I mean, you said about with the 3D modeling, is that your like your merger that you keep at, or I mean, how did that come about?
So math and art, right? So I think the first time, like just going back to like high school, of like math was initially my worst subject at first.
Mm.
And I had like straight A's in like every subject, and math was like that insufferable thing because I had a really strict set of math teachers in high school, like strict as I've probably ever had, like even through college or anywhere after. Like they were mean too.
Oh, Calvin,
Oh
you
yeah.
better do this work.
No, it was worse than that. It was
Oh.
so much worse than that. Oh no, it
Oh,
was
man.
very intimidating. But anyhow, I didn't get good at math until I learned how to program. Like once I realized I could program a graphing calculator to do like different algorithms, then I was like, okay, I could have the algorithm do a lot of the heavy lifting. And the good part about that is like if you wrote like a program and it works, you know how to do like the problems at that point. Like if it's like a fail-proof thing. So I do remember, I think it might have been like in the 11th grade, me and one of my friends, we paired up for a project where we had to make math art using polygraphs, and we ended up making like something really, really beautiful and like ornate. But that was my my first segue into graph transformations.
Yeah.
And then in undergrad, I studied mathematics at a HBCU, Claflin University. And there we had to do a senior project. And, a lot of people like will ask, like, as a math major, okay, what are you going to do? Like, is it going to be like a statistical project? But I meant my mentor, who was the advisor, the department chair of computer science and mathematics. And so what are you going to be like making? Like, what are you going to be doing for your, your capstone project? I said, I'm going to make a model of the solar system. And he said, okay. And so I explained to him, like, with the solar system, you have like Kepler, and he has like particular laws, but he has like these like 6 numbers that determine like the orbits and the way they're oriented. And I told my advisor that I wanted to make a model of the solar system, where I'm pretty much calculating the orbits using matrix rotations, using just like mathematical, like computer algebra systems. And that has always been one of my fascinations, just like orbital movements. And coming into Horizon, that's one of the first things I wanted to do, because my capstone project, I did it in a computer algebra system that renders a 3D image, but it's flat. It's not like in 3D. So coming into here, I'm like, I want to see that project come to life. I want to make a model of the solar system, right? And I was like, modeling that out, like maybe first week of programming in here. And a friend kind of networked me around and was like, this guy here can like script. He doesn't know what scripting is yet, but he's scripting. And so I was just minding my own business. And I ended up getting a pretty nice opportunity in my like first month and a half, where I was asked to do the scripting for like a black hole project. And it was, that caught me off guard like altogether, because I wasn't aware that people were making money in this space, or that there was business, or people like literally living their dreams in this space. So I'm like, that really changed my mind. So that's how I ended up here, math, art, and the programming, and comes natural.
No, and I mean, to have that like synchronization right there is just like that's a math equation right there. I mean, because that's 2 different, but then it reminds me of again, like how you say, you talk back to high school. One of my favorite subjects was geometry, and I remember like one of the projects we had to do like with yarn on a board or what, so, but like just with the intertwining and everything, like you had to really sit there and do with your number, like you had to really sit there and like dissect. And a lot of your like worlds I go to, I see that like that effect, like it stands out, but like with the standing out, you're seeing there's multiple interweavings of it. Just like how you said, like again, like you'll see with a math equation that you see in it. And that's what I love about with some of your work. You have it to the point like where you see like the transcendence in it. Like it's multiple. I mean, it's layers, just like with a math equation. And I'm like, so to see that like synchronization right there is whoa, like, because you're seeing something that not everybody else is seeing. And to see that and find that like correlation with that too, especially like, again, you're talking about with the solar system. Like that is like one of the, like how you were just saying, my mom was just being blown right now. I'm like, man, that's like that whole like transcendence fact, like you talk, like it sticks out because it's multiple layers that's going, and not even that's wrong, but it's multiple equations that's going around that factor. And I mean, I know I'm not a mathematician, don't get me wrong. I say I got dyscalculia, so that's numbers have my head hurt, but man, to really see that for me, because you have people like me that was sitting there, okay, oh hey. Well, I know he not. I don't know how he got to the whole addition of like moving to the 3.42 or what. So I mean, I can see the addition what he's talking about with that number aspect, and it brings me to one of my next questions, because you said earlier like you came on here and then you was able to get like certain placement. And that's what made me like perk up to your name more too, because how you say when you first came on here, and I'm already seeing like one of your worlds. Like I think at the time it was the one like it seemed like it was a gold ticking clock. You had it. It reminded me like of the essence from like Watchmen. Like when he's sitting there, Dr. Manhattan is like going through a whole little like the scenery so, and he's like in space. And I think it was like what you was giving a tour at the time. That's like how when I first like caught that's what like caught me off guard. I was like, you was like going to random places and everything, and I mean you just sat there, you just comic club, yeah man, I'm showing my world. Yeah, you can come through. And I mean that's how you was with me. Like, yeah, you come through, I'm giving a tour. Man, they didn't even tell me nothing about the world or anything, and then get there. And that's the thing I loved about it. Like as soon as we got there, like you gave a like full, thorough detail about what we was going to like explore. And then not even as that, you was letting us know like, hey, well, don't get y'all hopes up all too high, because I'm still like learning all about this. So I got a part 2 coming to it. That brings us to like my question. Like, did you expect to have like a trailblazer status like that now? Like now you're a name that pops up in this community. I mean, because like I said, like it's. You look at these graphics, you look at these dynamics and everything now, like your name pops up a lot. And Like, did you like? I mean, did you feel like that was gonna happen coming on this platform, or?
Um, I felt it was gonna happen, yes, but not in this way, no.
Hmm.
I would say like for myself, like that trailblazer status is just something that I've just always had that's been a part of me.
Oh, I love that.
And like even like okay, like going from like elementary, middle, high school, college, all throughout, like, at my high school I scored like the highest SAT, was the first pass the AP exam, got to college. I mean, it's just like achievement and standing out in that way. So I was expecting to stand out in that way, but performing, no. Because socializing, I tell people all the time, I really don't like a lot of people because people come with a lot of energy and you have to adjust to a lot of different people. So I've more so been known for like, being academically good, but in regards to being social, I keep to myself like completely. And I'm typically happier that way too. Because for the most part, I stay in my own world mentally and I love to mind my own business. I just love it. This people just don't interest me for the most part. So coming into this space, yeah, I knew I would probably be like make something nice, but in regards to like performing, not at all. No.
No, I mean, no, I mean, that's that's a good answer with that format because, like, how I say with it, when I first called Wind of Your Name, and then not even just that, but like catching like some of your worlds, you see, like, I mean, not even just that, but with the ambience that you go after, like you make, like you have there, you have people really sit there and have to think about something. And not even as that, like it's to a construct. You just sit there. You just don't put items together where you're just like, okay, well, hey, well, can I construct this like type of value from it? Like it's something that you seen in your like into your mind, and I know like that's what the thing about with art. Somebody else has to see that without you even saying anything, and that's what makes the art. And like to really even have that in digital, like already. Okay, hey, I know what I'm bringing to the table already with the I mean academics and everything with this. So why not have this with the same aspect? So with this, like I mean, I've seen you do this with again in Horizon base. Do you have a like turning point of like just keeping it all metaverse style, or do you still incorporate this into like real life aspects too, or do you just keep them separated?
I know it's all together for me. So for the most part, like you've seen my shows and I have like lots of things moving around. So for the most part, I like before I came into Horizon, I did a lot of work with Blender. So the system that I kind of use in here, it's a version of a mixture between particle simulations that I've done in Blender, as well as using geometry nodes inside of Blender, where it allows you to control multiple things, but using like the node system, but in mathematical ways. So it's doing that. I've also been having some friends bring in some of my 3D models that I've worked on either in the past or like recently, bring it into Horizon and see how it looks. I've also been considering going into the route of VR chat as well. So if anything, I'm looking more to get back to like before I even knew about Horizon Worlds, I actually had a 3D printing, 3D modeling business that I was starting up. But then when COVID hit, it was really hard to get like the main material that you need to 3D print. And so, for the most part, I stopped getting commissions with that. So that's something I want to get back to as well. And also making, I mean, at this point, I can probably make assets for people in here in like, 3D, like TriMesh, or I could have them 3D printed as well. I can make things inside of Gravity Sketch, 3D print them on my 3D printer. I have two of them. So one prints in plastic, one prints in resin. So getting back to being creative in like other ways and out like that I had before Horizon Worlds as well, because there's just so many different avenues, just to try to make money.
No, I mean, yeah, you're on that freeway and you're seeing there's different roads to get to that same destination, but like, I mean, to really see again, that's why I say about the longevity part with it. You're looking at the creativeness behind it. You're looking at the skills that you can add to instead of just what can I get from this.
Correct.
And that's what a lot of people misconstrue a lot of times because you add the value to this platform. And that's what will make the eyes perk out because again, like every time I see one of your pieces, it reminds me like of a clock or so, or like of like or a fine a fine watch or so. Like it's exquisite. Only this one, like this is like one of one. You could tell like this is only from like your hands, And that's bring me to like one of my next questions. You see, like you say you'll do certain assets and everything. Do you feel like it will get to a point on here where you'll have to worry about your work being replicated, or do you want to get to a point on here where you can have your work being like used as a source of inspiration?
Kind of mixture of both. Like, I mean, I think that there's two different aspects of looking at creating. There's one of people who are proud to just create something, whether it's inspired or like a synthesis of different things that came before it. Then you also have the other side that more so values ingenuity and originality. So there's that constant battle of like, you know, if I guess if we're competition, sort of say, or like competitors or similar in the same realm, how do we define respect that we have for one another? I think people have different perspectives of that. But to that point, I think to answer your question, it's inevitable to inspire people. It is inevitable that it's going to inspire something. You know, I think my whole thing is that so long as if they're looking at what I'm doing and finding their own way of doing it, I'm happy with that. Because my whole thing is that I just want to show people as closely what I can, like what I see in my mind. And so you only get to see but so much of it. So long as you saw that, I'm good. But then I'm thinking like a couple of weeks ago, there's like this one kid named Proto. She was like, "Hey, Island, could I show you my performance?" And I'm like, "Okay, let's go." And it was like, oh man, it was funny. It was like a miniature version of one of my performances where he was like in the middle and these things were like moving and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, like this pillow came out and it looked like it crushed him. I was like, oh, whoa. And he was like, no, I'm behind you guys. I'm like, whoa, what was that? Like, but no, like, I think it's kind of special, like to see, he's a kid that like, he asked me to show him just how to show like, how to send a few events. And I'm like, okay, this is how you do that. And he just did all of that. So it's a good thing to see what it inspires. And I think one other thing that was very similar, a friend of mine, Lady Lefty, she made a world a few months ago, and she put a small piece of her world aside as a miniature version of my Ascension world, because she said it helped her, you know, through whatever time she was going through. So for me to have seen that oh yeah, that caught me right here. It caught me right here.
They're watching the blueprint, and I mean I feel like that's one of the greatest things. That's why I literally said earlier, like when I was making with my post about like with a legacy and longevity, because a lot of people, you don't know what they're going through when they might see some of the work, and you don't know what the response can be from it. It could be from a place of intellect, it could be from a place of emotional, it could be from a place of curiosity, but it's still coming from a place within that was not there before, and that only happened from seeing this type of work or seeing this type of aesthetic and everything. And that really brings it to like one of my final questions coming up to you. I'm seeing your name. Like, what does your name come about? Because your name sounds like some fire ass cologne or some fire tree. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, man, I got some island aesthetic I'm about to blow on and go watch One Piece. Like, it's like
so island aesthetic. So I am from the Gullah Islands of South Carolina, specifically Johns Island. And so ascetic is someone typically of faith. It's more so like a monk, but someone who meditates, prays a lot. And so I live as closely as I can in ascetic lifestyle. I don't really, partake in a lot of different things. I love reading the Bible. Can't say necessarily I love going to church as much as I do love reading the Bible, but I come from a very Bible heavy family in regards to like reading it for inspiration. Not like to say, well, the Bible says this, so do that. It's more so like, okay, what's going on? What question do you have? Because the answer is probably in the Bible.
It's gonna be answered.
And also looking at it from a perspective of like, my father and grandfather taught like, the Bible can set you free, but it also can be used to enslave people, depending on like the word choice of what people use to like, it could be used for brainwashing. So just be careful about, how people teach it to you and just be aware of that. But the aesthetic part is pretty much like more of a speaking to my faith. I think a lot of people think that it says aesthetics, but it's more about the idea of the energy. So it's pretty much like almost like Island Monk. And even even like I think when I think about it, like people call me Island all the time here. And it's been a very long time since people have called me a name outside of my real name. I think the only other place was this this MMO I played some years back, called Ragnarok Online. And I went by this character by the name of Gentle Fist, who was a monk class character. So I mean, it's my voice, it's my energy, it's the presence.
It's always stayed in that same realm.
It's in the same realm, and it's just peace for the most part.
Man, I love to hear that. Like, because a lot of times we can get away from our own identity on here, and to really find that insane, that self incorporation, that means that you don't want to have this on as a mask, because that's why I'm like, a lot of people, this is an outlet. And like what you were saying earlier, like you seen this as, okay, hold on, this looked like a whole like video aspect or what, so to like, oh, this is the input that I got from it, this is the output that's being shown now. And again, to have that way of thinking with it, I can see that it can incorporate a lot of times with some of your work, or because in being on this platform, we see so many of entities, energy on here, like I say, energy, drama, even to the whole point of like who's going to be the next big top dog. It's like so many things that takes away from what this platform is really about. And that platform is really about just with growth. And I'm really seeing on here now that you are accepting to grow with this platform. And that's one thing I really respect about you with this, because a lot of people can get on here, again, you know the value and everything that you can bring to the table, and you can just stay with that way with it. But you know that same value that you bring it to the table, somebody can still find that value. Somebody can make their own value from it. Somebody can construct from it. Now you have a system that you didn't even know that was coming about. Like how you were saying earlier, you got individuals who's watching your work, who's sitting there now, you sitting there like, man, okay, you can see certain ins and outs. And I mean, that is amazing to see in that stress, because there's many times where we're looking on the outside looking in like, okay, hey, I'm looking at what somebody else is doing. So to see somebody is really watching the work that's being done, that means eyes are being on the prize. And I say that in a good way, like not in no way of like about, oh, they have to worry about this person being a disguise. They have to worry about this person work not really surfacing to that level. So it brings me to like my final question with you. With this technology that we're everlasting growing in, with this technology that's like being implemented everywhere, do you feel like technology is going to get to a point where it's going to take away from the art, or do you just feel like that's going to be like a blender? No pun.
That's a really good question. I believe it's always just going to be a blender. I really just do believe that. Like, I do believe that the more technology that we get, the more creative we're going to be. And I think that's just the way it has to be, because there's just so many ideas that are out there that need to be synthesized in so many different ways. I sometimes have a very cynical perspective of people in regards to self-interest, but I do believe that people are, for the most part, always going to be creative in whatever they do. So I think technology is going to help in more cases when it comes to creativity.
Man, I thought that was gonna be my hardest question on here, man. I'm sitting here I was writing it all week. No, you answered it. You answered it perfectly. I mean, because in this day and age, I feel like a lot of times technology is becoming to a point of it's being saturated, and a lot of people, like, technology is becoming to a point like a lot of people, it's gonna be the go-to now. So I feel like a lot of people are going to go to technology now when they want to find out about certain art pieces, or when they want to find out about certain ways. Like before this interview and everything today, I had like somebody pop up on my thing. I'm gonna want to ask if you know Banksy. I'm saying it right. It's like an artist or so that I've been seeing pop up. Like they do graffiti all over like facilities everywhere, and they really have like their work, like it'd be like in plexiglass and everything, like. People share their work and everything, and went to the website. It was like it's a real deal artist, and they had like an answer a question like thing about like, hey, you can't get in contact with this person. They pop up when they want to pop up. But I'm seeing that it was on like a technology format, and I'm just sitting here like, man. But then they had their, well, hey, if you work in a facility that you do need us to come into, we got you. And I'm like, oh, there go that Blender approach. So to see that technology is getting to a day and age, like how you're saying, it can either be the good part of it and be the bad. I'm seeing many people on here are going to probably just try to not take away, but not see a lot in this space because it's coming from a technology factor. And I feel like a lot of people are going to like try to use that. Well, hey, the work is not being like put in as much because they're not covered in paint, or they're not sitting here with the same amount of indentions that I have to spend on.
I'll also tell you this, right? Like, because I don't really consider I did not consider myself to be an artist, I would say, for a while. Because my background is in mathematics, so I don't know if I necessarily have like the best art critique, but a friend of mine, he's an art professor that I met like really, really recently. He sent me an article of it's a Black female artist, and she had it's like not in virtual reality, but it's a room that she pretty much designed where it has some electrical components like blue screens, and it's like it combines the idea of the topic of like Black lives in regards to technology and the way that we're depicted. And so on like, I think it's like 3 different walls, and like the back wall, I read through the article and it said that she used the back wall looks like, I guess, skin under light, but she actually used Blender to make a rendering of it across the wall. But the rest of the room, it's not like a rendering of a room, it's an actual room, but there are so many different aspects of the room that she's tied technology into it. Even having like her face like on a tri-pane type of like almost hologram type thing. So, I mean, I think just the more we get access to in regards to technology, the more creative we're going to be able to express ourselves regardless of who we are. So it's coming.
And you see, folks, that's why I said we're looking at the longevity of this. Man, that is a big ups. That is a big ups. But not even as that, my man, I thank you for what you do on this platform because, hey, not even as that you show something that is intriguing to the eye, but it's also intriguing to the mind. And that's the biggest thing on this platform, to keep the mind in tune on something that could keep, like, again, our attention is gone all so quick on here. So to really keep us in that same format, man, you're doing your thing. You're an innovator with that. And yes, you're an artist with that because you're keeping the attention of not short span, but you're keeping the attention of people who probably don't understand. And now they have a plan, or they made something from that they can able to sit there and calibrate, watch, and not even just that, but from moving ambience, and it all goes with detail also with that. And no, and I thank you for sticking with that, not with sticking with that format, but I thank you for being a creative mind on here, accepting to grow with this instead of going against it. And and that's what makes you stand out the most with this thing, man. And any way the Howard Hour can help, hey, I know I can't be a model or anything, but hey, I know I can sit there and try to make my arm come off, and we could dissect it.
I mean, and I think the fun part is that like we've like been in the space so many times, like crossed each other's paths. Like, I mean, you were like the auctioneer person at the auction that I bought that piece from. So it's like you've been present in your personality, and it's an honor to be on your show, and thank you for just being a presence in the metaverse.
No, thank you. I thank you, man. Again, that's one of the first reasons why I came out with this format with the Howard Hour, because just how I came on here searching. Like I mean, I'm still searching, don't get me wrong, but you could find so much of yourself on here, because many times when we're on here with ourselves. When we put on this headset, we're loading up by ourselves. We load into that whole world and everything before you go into Horizon. Know that you're by yourself at that time and moment. Just like when you wake up in the morning, just like when you go to sleep at night. And it's still in those same times of frame when you can sit there and either, again, I say calculate a plan, sit there and radiate something, or not even just that, see what you can add to this thing that we call life. And that's one thing I said, just like I know I want to have somebody keep a smile on my face or keep words of wisdom around, I want to see if I can still pass that way. And no, I thank you for this wonderful conversation, because like I told you, without vibes, we would just be sitting here like, well, hey, you're sitting here and you do this. Yes, yeah, good night. Let's have fun. Like, but no, it's coming from a place, everybody is a somebody on here, and it starts with individuals like yourself, because it don't always have to come from a place of, well, hey, I started off doing this, but now I'm here. No, this is my journey, that how I got to here now, because we're all on this headset right now, and that's what the biggest moment. That's how we're all in sync right now. Just like there got many of my viewers and everything coming in from their phones, many of them watching from their computer screens. We're all in sync right now, and we're all in this moment. And we could never experience that somewhere else if we didn't sit there and like collect to put our mind together. So no, before I even have you leave the stage, do you have any words that you could leave up here for anybody that just want to chase a format of this, making an indention for their own?
Words of advice. I would say trust yourself. Like just trust yourself and trust that the way that you're doing it is the best way, because nobody's going to be able to be you like you can be. Even if somebody says, oh, do that, if you know it's not for you, don't do it. But just do your best, and there's no way you can do it wrong.
Ooh, let's do your best. I like, that's a bar. Let's do your best. There's no way you can do it wrong. Hey, no, I love hearing that. I mean, because like how you were saying earlier, it has to come from a place of within to really see that reflection. And again, you could be here all day like, oh wait, I'm gonna be just giving this great work to the world, and I'm gonna be like tucked away. No, but I'm still growing with this world, and I'm still growing with my intention. I don't have to sit here and give you all of me, but you will still see some of me that will make this reflection. Like no John Legend, but no, like it's no, from an artist to another artist. I mean, it's not even just from a feel of sitting here with that aspect, but no, to sit there and keep that in time, because that takes energy, that takes time. And I thank you for putting that time and implementing that time, because you left an imprint. You leave a mark that's showing, hey, the longevity of this is going way beyond me, going way beyond this technology, but it's going to still be here. Either you're going to learn something from it, or you're going to sit there and hate on it. And my man, I ain't seeing the hate. So that's how I know you're definitely doing a good thing with it, unless you got them like ducked off somewhere, bro. You know, feel me? But hey, I don't know.
They're there, but you know, the thing about it is that like you have to like I think another point of thing is like you have to decide who has enough power to be like a villain in your story. Like you could be like, I don't know if you're a Power Rangers fan, you can be a putty in my story, but you're not gonna be like make my monster grow type of person. No. So, you know, they're out there, but, you know.
Staring out the way. No, that's, man. And that's what I mean. That's what happens with great conversation. When you stare out the way, you still do it your way. And you see the pavement that you're making, man. And no, big ups with that, man. Y'all have to throw some confetti in the air for the one, the only Mr. Island Aesthetic. Yes, I'm saying it. I just have to say that up. Aesthetic, you know. Like, I tell you, man, that sounds like some fire cologne, man. Like, hey, girl, you got some Gucci on? No, I got some Aesthetic. But no, man, I thank you for what you do again for this platform, my man, and keep doing what you do. Can you let the people know where they can find you at and find some of your work?
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram. It should be island_aesthetic_VR on Instagram. So my name with the _VR behind it. You can see some of the videos, and if you scroll back far enough, you can see some of my 3D prints, 3D arts, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Man,
so if you have anything made, just let me know.
And y'all heard it here, man, on the Howard Hour Live, man. So again, y'all throw some confetti in the air for the one, the only Mr. Island Aesthetic. Yes. I'll just have you hit the globe right here. I mean, it's not none like some of your pieces, but it's moving. But man, I thank you so much for that conversation, Island, because folks, this is what I say about this platform. I tell this to everybody. When I started this thing off, I started off just performing. Now I'm sitting here able to have great conversations with great creators in this platform, because it's all about growth. When you're a tree, you're going to grow up and out. But when you're in a garden, you're just only contained, you feel me? But a tree is not contained in the forest. And it's only about what perception you can have with it, just like with art. You're going to take whatever perception you make from it. But when you could feel an artist's reflection, you could feel their message, and you can hear their words, that is what it's supposed to do. Like we were just talking about with certain books that you read, with certain inventions, like when it's meant for you to listen to hear, or to really have come into, you're gonna understand it. You might not know it, but you're gonna understand it. You feel me? But man, it's up until next time. That's how we do with technology, with this thing that we call every day with this headset. When we first got on this, folks, yes, we just looked at it like, oh man, what is this now? To the folks, man, when you putting this on, you feel like you're a NASCAR driver. You know how to get it on, you know how to reboot it, and you know how to sit here and get through your night and get to whatever you have to do. That's what this thing we do with life. You have to adapt, you have to survive, and that's how you thrive, folks. And it only starts with within. You can be the best you can be. You can see how much it can output to anything you do, folks. And I'm living proof you can do this. Mr. Island, yes. J. Octavia's in the building. Oh, I got DMF Son, Miss Pacific Ghost. Man, I'm saying this, folks, so you have to believe in yourself, because if you don't want to have anybody believe in you, you know that you're believing in you. And that's the best thing that you could do, because, hey, you know that is the truth, man. But not even as that, folks. We had a wonderful time. This is a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I mean, this is something that was needed. And you really need to check out some more of Mr. Island's aesthetic work, man. That's all on Meta Horizon. But not even as that, folks. Up until next week, you know what I always say. This is your boy HT Howard 702. Let's get tripping like a kid untied shoes. Thank y'all for rocking with me, because I rock with you. Everybody's a somebody. Your presence is a presence. Do something great in this world, and understand somebody is looking at you to either fail or to exceed. And hey, folks, you know you're not a loser, so be the best winner you could be. So up until next week, this is your boy HT. You know, let's go.